I think something's happening. I've got a circly line.
We're here. People are populating the comment section.
Yeah, no intro. No intro. All professionally this is non-binary broadcasting brought to you by broads.
With a, I was gonna make a dumb joke too, but good to see you,
William.
William.
Yeah, dumb jokes are where it's at. Right now, that's the cool thing.
Right. Open mouth, insert foot. That's what I'm trying to avoid here.
Or you can, hey, if anybody wants to work on their spelling, I found out the best way to get the words to come together is if you bend over, like if you bend over, all the blood will rush to your head, right? So that helps brain function, gets oxygen. So you bend over and just like simple words, start with that. It's like bend over and spell the word run. Think about that.
No.
Yeah.
No dumb jokes like that. Here, I thought you were being serious.
Oh, well, it's pretty serious. What's funny is about that funny joke is it brings me into somewhat of a transitionary point at this conversation where we'll talk a little bit about Senator Kennedy. He was on the Senate floor reading a book, and it had really explicit language, which I will not repeat, but it was on Twitter. And this is how funny fact checks are. Fact checks are a funny thing when they actually come back around and smack themselves in the face. Okay. So Kennedy reads this explicit book. Somebody puts the tweet out and says, oh, yeah, he's reading about the letters between Obama and Larry Sinclair. Well, the fact checkers step in. The fact checkers step in and say, oh, no. That is not about Obama and Larry Sinclair. That is a book at a child's school. And I was like, oh, okay, that's better. Thank you, fact checkers, for first confirming that Larry Sinclair and Obama will be hanging out. And then, too, it's okay to have that bookage at a schoolhouse, and that is what they're doing. And you confirmed that. Thank you. And I just...
That's brilliant. I'm glad you brought that up. But unfortunately, too many people have no idea. Like, if they heard you say that, I'm like, what are you talking about? Too many people are not apprised of all the details that are going on. Right. So you're talking about the guy who came forward and said, oh, yeah, Obama and we hooked up and did illicit substances together. Yeah. And it's like, oh, my gosh, this is public information that's been out there a long time, but the media has effectively suppressed it, et cetera, et cetera. And so Kennedy was up there. I missed this so Kennedy was reading into the record some books that are in our children's libraries about some behaviors. Oh,
yeah.
And that's pretty funny. No, that was okay. All right. Sorry.
In fact,
if you guys aren't tracking,
okay, well,
if you guys in the comment section aren't tracking with what we're talking about, I'm sorry. We're going in a different direction right now. There was your intro. There was your.
Well, the directions are only like they like, say for instance, we'll practice a Marxist tactic of actually meaning of things. We'll have a direction the show is supposed to go, but that's only in the eye of the beholder, because there is a gray area when it comes to the right direction. We could completely go the wrong way, but if thought just right, if you could just think, you could make it the right direction. So in all honesty, we are completely on track. And I'd like to thank Eureka, Chris Bonds, AC Cruz, Lucas, Mitch, Jacqueline, Tender Place. I hadn't seen her in a long time. I'd see her in my comment sections on my other channel. That's cool. What's up? Yeah. Wow. All right. Yeah. And love Kennedy too, by the way. But we actually are supposed to talk about something that's sort of structured. So we got to actually get on track here. We can't be running around. I took my ADD Ritalin, so it should start kicking in a little bit. I'll start playing some Phil Collins. That'll kind of get us right. Yeah.
Phil Collins, is that your meds?
Yeah. You definitely got to. Yeah. If you're taking Ritalin, you need to jam to some Phil Collins. Yeah. Yep. Not after Genesis, by the way. Him in his solo career is where it really.
One more night. Give me just
no more. Yeah, remember that? No more. I'm going to say that for 10 minutes.
All right.
No more.
All right. We've lost everybody. Everybody's laughing, right? Look at the comment section. People are cracking up here. Okay. We need to satisfy anybody who might have clicked on this video to hear about the topic, the title. So I'm going to turn it over to you, William. I'm going to get your take on this, and then we'll go. All right. So
I'll give you my take as soon as
we've been hearing this. We've been hearing
your opinion. I want your opinion, then I'll give you my take. What is your opinion of the McCarthy? What do you think? Where are we at with this right here?
of what he's announced, or of
Like,
McCarthy in
okay, I'll give
general
you
as
a
the speaker?
category of something. I'll give you an itemized list to choose from. Is he a rhino? Is he sold out? Is he spineless? Or is he a coward? Or all the above?
Okay. Uh, Depending on the time of day. Okay. So, I mean, that's kind of a cop out, but a real mature answer is depends. It depends. But I'm glad you asked that way, because he's a political animal, right? To be where he is, he has to be a political animal. And that's so politics, right? And so he's in his position right now because he had to concede some of his own, I don't know, his own authority as speaker to Matt Gaetz, right? Remember that?
Oh
Remember
yeah,
he
yeah,
was,
definitely.
and so, and this is the thought that came to my head, because everybody's saying impeach Biden, impeach Biden, impeach, and everybody's paying attention, like you and I. It's like, well, that's a no-brainer, right? Because the things that they've brought against Trump and tried to remove him, when they tried to remove him from office and impeach, was all fabricated nonsense. But everything they asserted or alleged or made up about Trump is now actually true about the current president, right? And so it's like, it's a no-brainer. If they thought they should impeach Trump for the things they said he was doing, well, Biden actually deserves it. However, there's a long game that you have to play as a politician. And I guarantee that the timing of this announcement of an inquiry was a part of that deal he made. It was a part of the deal that Gaetz made. I guarantee you, in their discussions, it's like, we are going to impeach Biden. We're going to, but we're not going to do it until after the recess, and the timing, because it's all about the political, like, what season are we in? We're entering into election season, right? You impeach Biden, as soon as he gets into office, then you got Kamala for 3 years or whatever. No, you wait, you string it out, and you plan the big hits during election season. This is all part of the strategy. This is all Matt Gaetz. I'm convinced.
Okay, so that's definitely agreeable. I'm gonna interject on Tender Place that MTG fights harder than any men, which with the men that we have nowadays and their little limp-wristed skinny jeans wearing self, that's quite possible, except for the fact that I'm a little bit hung up to the thing that she went along with the vote for the 87,000 IRS agents that'll be crammed up our backside. That right there, I just got really upset about that, because that hits home more than anything, because most of those entities will be weaponized at the end of the day. When you approve something like that, it's not just going to be go after the billionaires, because if you do the math, for 87,000 IRS agents amongst 50 states with an average of 100 counties, boy, you really have a high number of agents per county. And I'm sure there's billionaires in every one of those counties, so they'll have plenty to do. They will have no time where they're just kind of sitting there idling, figuring out maybe something else they could do with their spare time, and their lethal training that they're getting to have automatic firearms. That's weird too. So I'm a little bit apprehensive with Marjorie Taylor Greene, and I think that's how, if they were to replace McCarthy, that's who they would put in place. I would just about bet that it'd be perfect for that situation, because of the political wolves, or the political climate that we're in. I do think that there's a chance that Matt Gaetz, when he came on the Senate floor and talked about, do your job, he sounded really harsh to McCarthy. What that does is that was probably pre-staged, pre-planned, because what McCarthy needs to do is, if he were to act on his own, say for instance, if the machine that's up against him that he's up against and he's working between the two, if he were to make some of these decisions on his own, then he would be the personal attackee of what's going on. If he can thwart what he's doing to the amongst the whole people amongst the House floor, then what that does is it makes it a lot harder for the media to scrutinize just one person for the actions taking place. Takes a little heat off of him, and I'm sure that that's probably planned, because that would be the case, because if McCarthy says, well, I'm doing an impeachment inquiry and I don't care, well, we're going to do this, and nobody speaks up, he just started doing it, they're going to think it was all him, and then that makes him the sole proprietor of all the attacks. So this way, it kind of like, it lets the vibration go across the water, and it kind of calms it down. And what will we see an impeachment? Okay, here we go. Now, this is like one of those things where you see something done to somebody you wanted to see done because of the things they did, but then you realize how the implications that can occur. We'll get into Kamala Harris, and whatever happens after that, they'll put somebody in place of the Kamala Harris, And who would that be? Could that be Hakeem Jeffries? Would be the perfect replacement for Kamala Harris if she were to step up. And let me tell you what you got right there. You got gas and oil mixed together, and all you need is a lighter, because those, but Kamala Harris is an idiot. Hakeem Jeffries is an number one communist, like socialite, evil man. He was just a video of him come out today standing behind the Biden regime till the very end, and I'm like, oh no. Oh no. So
well, I think it's probably clearly that Hakeem Jeffries envisions himself as the heir apparent to the Obama legacy, right? Because they're racist, right? They think skin color entitles them to something, right? I don't know, but he is fully on board. Obama was a Marxist acolyte, right? He grew up he went to school and was trained in the.
If you look at his history of how his father, and when he was sent from here to there to here to there, lived with the grandparents of the mother who was white, so he was mixed race. If you really, actually, that was trafficking. I believe he was trafficked and then groomed. I don't know. Allegedly, I'm just saying. But Obama yes, he's definitely got a lot of components that have been programmed in him to be an evil person.
Well, he's a Bill Ayers acolyte, Bill Ayers, and then a parishioner at a Jeremiah Wright's, church. Like, so it doesn't take. We don't need to get in all the details of his history, but that 8-year term with Vice President, now President Joe Biden, right? This is all one operation, right? It's all a unified operation, and Trump was not in their plan, and so that. Where do I take this? I think. Well, actually, tell me. Most pundits, left and right, don't think Biden's even going to finish this term, that he'll be the candidate. And so impeaching him is a technicality. It's something that needs to happen. But knowing that, I think that the Republicans are like, okay, we're not doing the vote, right? They're supposed to vote on whether an impeachment inquiry starts or whatever. Nancy Pelosi never did that for the 2 Trump impeachments. She never held a vote. But the way it's been announced is the quote unquote slow roll, because it gives access to his bank accounts, right? This is what difference this really makes. It's like, we all know the guy's corrupt. We all know he's complicit. There's, the evidence is like right in front of us. He's confessed to it on camera, saying, you don't get that $1 billion unless you do this. Like, that is corruption on display. So that's the evidence for everybody plain to see. But why are they slow rolling it? It's because it's an election year, and all this new information that's now going to be made public, right? The congressmen and senators see information that is not allowed to be made public. Now it will, with this inquiry, all the stuff that they see. We hear $30 million going to different people in Biden, crime family. Now we're going to see the actual records, his bank records, and it'll just be, the left is going to be flailing and being red pilled, right? That it's just this slow trickle towards election. It's this movement that's moving. The MAGA movement is the biggest political movement in history, and it's not losing steam. It's only gaining ground, and this is one of the ways to add fuel to that. Anyway, those are my just spontaneous pontifications.
Well, what could happen is, let's say, for instance, if like you say, timing is everything. I agree, timing is everything. I'm so discouraged with the Republican Party, so I don't put all my faith into this. Put my faith into God, just to let you know. Timing is everything. And think about what happened whenever we tried to impeach the big-headed dude, the big balloon-headed Adam Schiff.
Balloon pencil neck.
Yeah. It kind of reminds you of the Mr. from South Park when he smoked a doobie and his head got real big. You know what I'm talking about? I can't remember anything. I'm with Joe Biden to death today. Anyhow, so think about that. When they tried to impeach him and it didn't go through, and how it galvanized his base and he was able to raise a lot of money. So that's another thing. That's why timing is everything. Well, if we were to do a full out impeachment without the inquiry, the votes wouldn't be there. Obviously because the Democrats have their feet in the heels dug in the ground where they have to because they understand that might not be them exactly personally, because not every single one of them is a criminal. I hope. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt, but some that they do know are, and they're all friends. They all hang out, so they kind of look out for each other, which then kind of makes them criminal as well, because I believe that's called harboring a future or covering up or anyways, evidence.
Aid and comfort to the enemy, etc.
Yeah. When you look at treason, you start going, wow, they probably wouldn't be able to treason quite as hard if you didn't let them live with you, like Lindsey Graham and that other guy. You know what I'm talking about? So, make them sleep on the streets and make it harder for the treason. Yeah, make it easy. Give them gas money to go there. Why'd you do that? You should have made them walk. So that's where, so I think you say timing, like you say, timing is everything. The thing is like they won't impeach him though. It'll come down to him actually just resigning, because he does this will be a whole lot better than an impeachment, because an impeachment will damage the brand of the Democrats. And also, when that happens too, I think you lose some form of Secret Service coverage, so that would affect.
That's a good point. Yeah. Okay. So you're thinking he will bow out before?
No, he said he would from the get-go. Right when he was inaugurated, sitting in front of Camel Toe herself, he was like, "Yeah, I'll get this illness and it'll come in effect, and I'll have to step down and she'll do her thing." She touched him on the leg. He liked it, and his hair stood up, and everybody was like, they didn't even back like it was even said.
God bless you, William. I love you, man. Okay. So, I mean, that does make sense. And I've heard different influencers that I respect and regard have similar kinds of predictions or theories that he won't complete his term. But the big question mark is, who will it be in 2024? And there are these deadlines that keep coming up. Like Gavin Newsom said, it's not going to be me. Like he threw his weight behind Biden.
Michelle Obama.
Okay. And that's one of the, like people say she doesn't want her, she hasn't said blah, blah, blah. So we don't know, right? It's a big question mark. Gavin Newsom, Michelle Obama, Kamala Harris, it's all, all these different question marks. But you hit on something that I want to spend just a couple minutes on that I think is important for us to understand. Like, we're all red-blooded, red-pilled, MAGA loving. Yeah, I think for the most part, people that watch this channel and watch our stuff, we're on that side, and we're all. What does red pill mean? It means your eyes are open. We pay attention to both sides of the aisle, whereas those on the left only pay attention to what's on the left and very little of what's on the right. And so, but it's important for us to understand when you said, I hope they're not all corrupt. There's an important distinction between Democrat politician and run-of-the-mill Democrat voter, right? And so, but I still think, even in that distinction, I don't know if all, there's certainly those who know they're doing evil and doing corruption, but there are some of those that are strung along that actually believe they're doing good. This is hard to grasp, right? It's a bit difficult to grasp for us,
right.
who see the extent of the evil, but those on that side whose eyes haven't been open to the actual evil think that Trump really is a Hitler-like character. They really think that. They believe that. And when you are convinced of that, that's the core seed of TDS, right? That you're doing good by opposing him, and situational ethics applies. Ends justify the means. Doesn't matter if we throw out the Constitution. Doesn't matter if we violate people's rights. Doesn't matter if we throw innocent, normal people into prison for freedom of speech. Doesn't matter, because it's about stopping the next Holocaust. That's what they believe they're doing. That's what they actually believe, and that's a good
making
thing.
A Holocaust.
Well, it's a good thing to want to stop a Holocaust, and so it's Scripture talks about calling good evil and evil good, and that's the scenario we're in, and it's so glaringly obvious to us, and so we have to pray, right, and we have to cut through the nonsense, and I think that's what's happening. It's like with the impeachment inquiry, more and more of those people who have been blinded will catch some bit of information that they thought was false and it's now true, right? It's just this gradual red pilling. And I don't know if I want to use that term as much anymore. But it's this gradual awakening to the facts, to the truth.
Being
But
allowed to believe something, it would be a wonderful thing. Being allowed to believe something. There's so many times where even if some of the people's beliefs are far-fetched, they could be true, but people won't go there because they're not allowed to believe it. They like, say for instance, when you talk about things that are happening in our environment and you try to explain to what the government has so far as certain tools and things that they do really have. People are so afraid to speak out about it. They just stick to the old, well, this is this, and then they can't understand that climate change is very much, could very well be the biggest grift in the world. But people wouldn't be so apt to believe it if other people weren't so scrutinized and ostracized for talking about other things that could be causing it. And it's all lockstep with media. This is like, I was telling somebody the other day, they were like, somebody said, I'm thinking about switching back to the Bud Light. I said, well, that Bill Gates bought all this Bud Light stock, and he predicts that it'll go up. And I almost think that he's right, because if you're in control of the levers of all the information, you can force enough of the repetitive lies down people's throat where they'll actually rebrand Bud Light, and it'll be just as big, if not bigger. And then you have all the good, fun Bill Gates stuff that he loves to put in things. I ain't even going to say what that is, but I'm pretty sure if you're here, you have an idea. Well, yeah, you just drink it. You're drinking one heck of a Bud Light. I'll tell you that right now. You go buy a barcode scanner to go off like an X-Files episode. You'll say, dang. But
I just want to give a quick shout. We have somebody from Germany chiming in. Ooh, Voltaire from Germany, welcome, and Paul Bartlett from Australia. Okay, this is kind of making my point here. Information technology is joining us all together, right? The truth can spread faster now. I mean, falsehood could spread faster now as well, but truth, when people see truth, you can't unsee truth. Right? Falsehoods you can unsee, right? That's the point of truth, is literally the undoing of falsehood. And so falsehoods can spread, but truth undoes them. What was I going to say?
Germany. Well, I'm going to say this while you're thinking of that. Think about what you're going to say. Germany. I feel bad for you guys over there, because I've seen the crisis that's going on when people rushing across the borders, and what's happening to all you guys over there. We're catching it over here too. It's just that they're just a little behind schedule. They wanted more. We need the wall. We need the wall. We need actual real people enforcing the border. It's a scary thing. So my heart goes out to you guys over there in Germany. By the way, beautiful place. Beautiful place. My grandmother spent a bunch of time over there, and I've got awesome slides. My grandmother, when she was younger and married back in her 20s, as my grandfather was in the military and traveled over there, I've got photographs of all it's not there anymore. All that stuff is gone, of the artwork and the statues and the buildings over there in Germany and some of the old towns. It's really cool, man. Cool history.
Well, let's talk Germany. I was in Berlin, and then I went to Hamm, and then another place right north of Germany. What was the name of it? I forget the name of it, but Germany is incredible, and Germany has been for decades the kind of the most powerful Western nation of Europe, kind of the force, like an economic force. When the European Union happened,
manufacturing.
It took all of these. It took all of these different economies and joined them together. And then Germany was the one kind of carrying the load. Germany and England were like the one carrying the load for all these other European nations. Like when you have a strong economy and then you join it with all these weaker economies, it's just like you've got to carry more of a load. So Germany has been burdened like that when it's been in the European Union. And then with the Biden administration destroying the Nord Stream, it's like this political move that was actually the largest environmental terrorism act ever, right? To bomb the Nord Stream.
Propane. They love natural gas in their water,
To destroy the Nord Stream pipeline and say, we're attacking Russia, or Russia bombed its own, whatever, right? It's like, that's nonsense. The data's out there that an agent, maybe not directly the United States, but the United States, that thing's not going to happen without the United States' approval. it hurt our European allies. It didn't hurt Russia, right? Russia's in an alliance with China, right? And they're doing fine. Like the Russian economy is thriving. It's the ruble is doing great. All of our efforts to sanction have only hurt us, and by destroying that pipeline, it's hurt all of Europe, and in particular Germany. Like Germany is suffering under the exorbitant energy costs, because now that cheap fuel is no longer available to them until that thing is repaired, whenever, a
That
year from now.
Trump talked about that back in 2015, I think it was, or no, 2017, 2018, somewhere right around in there. He wasn't president in 2015. Yeah. At he was over in that area talking to those people, and he said, "Hey, I don't think that you guys should rely on this one significant source of," and they all laughed at him. They're like, "Ah, ha, ha, yeah, right." Because what it was is that you got people that worked against Trump in the beginning, and probably called those people up and said, "Trump's headed over there to negotiate with you guys, talk to you guys. You guys just need to laugh it off and not pay any attention at all." And then, in the middle of all that, he was right, because at the end of the day, the U.S. knew. I think the U.S. pre-planned a lot of this stuff. Like, that's why they needed him out of office so bad, because they had plans to go into Ukraine. They had plans to disrupt things over there on the West. They needed him out of the way to do this. And it's funny because these plans didn't exist until he accidentally became president. I don't think half the plans that they had done here recently actually were in the makes before Agenda 2030. This is just a correction for when he was the 4 years. And that's caused him to step on a lot of
scramble.
rakes.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of rakes got stepped on. Maybe.
Right. And that's the thing. There are plans, and then there's a famous quote from a military general. I forget how it goes exactly, but it's like, do everything you can, plan, but every plan goes out as soon as battle starts. The plans all go out the window. Then you have to adjust in the instant, because you can't plan for everything. You need to plan. And so some of the plans will remain in place even when things go sideways. And so then it's adjusting. And so Trump actually winning was not a part of the plan. In fact, they didn't put any thought into what to do. And so they scrambled and got themselves into trouble. The scrambling was, let's blame him. Let's call him a Russian agent, right? It's like,
right. Yeah.
Hillary's like, wait, I'm a Russian agent.
I'm one of those.
I was dealing with Russia. I was selling plutonium to Russia. And people don't like that. Oh, let's just point to Trump and say he did it all and get all the eyes off of me. And my goodness, what an amazing creative drama that Adam Schiff and those people, like Adam Schiff, the failed Hollywood screenwriter, got to write his script and try and convince the entire world that, his narrative was true, and it was all fiction. Boy, we're actually out of time because we got started a little bit late. I'm going to give you the last few words, but we're going to be out of here in a couple seconds.
I just want to thank everybody for being here. It's a heartwarming event to see all you guys here, and I love that Michael gives us an opportunity to discuss things with him, because he's a fun dude. I like messing with him. It's good stuff. Yep.
William,
so, thank you.
William, you are a national treasure.
Thank you.
You are. Absolutely. I love you, my brother. It's good to see you. And we'll do it again in a month or so. I don't know how often we do this, but I love you. And this is to all of you, keep the faith. God is in control. We are living some exciting times. It's crazy to see evil running rampant, but evil has been running rampant for quite a while. And I think it's all on its way out the door, because patriots and MAGA, but most importantly, God above all, brings justice. So justice is coming. God is in control. Love y'all. Bye.
Peace out. Thank you. Oh, I'm supposed to end this. I got to do this. There we go. In stream.